What's going on, guys? So, this week I decided to work on my fishing system once again, and I took some of the suggestions into consideration and tried to implement them into the game. So, starting off, this is all the same casting, and the fish is on the line. I change the camera, and then after a few seconds, if you don't do any reeling, the fish will just escape regardless. Um, So right now I have it set to like 3 to 6 seconds after it's online. Maybe I could tweak it as I go. But it's basically a coroutine that gets started. And if the player doesn't reel, it's just going to say the fish got away. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing, the fish needs to try to escape rather than just like an easy reel. So I start reeling. And then after, I think I put like 3 to 10 seconds, the fish tries to escape. So basically, what it does is swim in the opposite direction for a certain amount of time, and then I have a little trail effect at the bottom. I got to make this UI smaller too, it's taking up too much of the screen. But basically, the camera switches to the position of the actual fish, and player catches him. So what happens when the fish is actually fighting and swimming away? The player still could reel in the fish. So I'll show you in a second. So I could still try to reel. So it's try to pull it, but the fish is trying to pull away. When you fully are able to reel it in, it's facing the player. That means the fish isn't fighting anymore, and it becomes easier to catch. If the fish is so I'm reeling it in, and then as the fish gets away, I'm just gonna stop for a second, trying to escape, and he's freely moving. And then you can see here it's easier to reel in because the fish isn't fighting anymore. So what I'm going to do eventually is make it so obviously you could hold the reel down while you're fighting the fish, but that will increase the tension on your line, and each line will only have a certain amount of tension based on the quality of your fishing rod, and the line will snap if you hold it down too long while the fish is fighting. And I think that's reasonable because you don't want the player to hold down the thing the whole time. There's no fun in that. There should be like some kind of timing, a simple timing mechanic that allows it to be more fun. And what I'm also going to do is make it so the fish, the heavier the fish, the slower the reel speed would be. And I'm also going to have aggressiveness of fish from like calm, neutral to aggressive, and that will determine how long the fish is actually fighting for when the fish is fighting coroutine is triggered. And it's cool too. I could just fish from anywhere. I might have showed this in a previous video, but it's cool to be able to fish from the dock and see like the player, the your character face while they're trying to reel it in. And obviously, when I get better at like blend shapes and things like that, I could change the way the players look, smile, or different facial expressions. And the fish is caught. And you can see here all the fishes in the inventory. Uh, and super slow roll. I gotta change it so that the animation speed gets reset back to normal too. So I worked on like that ripple effect, so it makes looks a little bit better than it did before. The like crazy water droplets. I also added this kind of like a wake that the trail effect of the fish while it's swimming. And yeah, so I'm happy with the basics I've gotten down so far. I was also suggested to put a fishing line. I got to figure out how to do that, as well as the fishing zones. I do have a decent idea based on the water that's hitting, whether it be ocean or pond or lake. And I think bigger fish should be found deeper in deeper water. So I should be able to do like a raycast from the top of the water to the bottom. I wonder if I could swim real quick in the water to show you guys. So basically the top layer is the water, and then the bottom layer would be like the terrain, swimming in the terrain here. But I think from like the top of the water to the bottom of the terrain will determine the distance or the depth of the water. And I think I should be able to do that. So like this should be deeper, or down further out would be deeper than this area. So maybe I can make it so based on particular, now he's floating in the air. Based on the depth of the water, that's what kind of fish can possibly spawn, in addition to the type of water, whether it be a lake, ocean, or pond, or river. Um, and you can see I'm going under the water here. So a lot of things to fix, but pretty happy with the actual fishing progress. And I got the escape part, I got the fish fighting, I got the reeling, and I got some basic animations as well for the player actually reeling in the fish. And no, I don't want to catch them that quick. But I also made it so when the fish is swimming away, it actually it has this animation you can see there, but when it's swimming away, it actually speeds it up 2 times, and then it instantiates that wake effect. So we're at 6 minutes here. For next week, I'm going to start working on a smaller map, maybe one terrain, and try to simplify everything, and make maybe like a smaller area where it could almost be like a testing type map. So it's also suggested in my Discord, thanks Dungeon Ward, that I should probably look to make like a testable version. I'm I'm not even close to making like a full game yet. But at least I can make like a testable area. And that's going to be my focus. Starting with next week, I'm going to maybe make a lake and then make like a smaller version of each of my systems. Maybe a little bit of combat, maybe a little bit of crafting, all in this one terrain. So I got to see how I could map that out before I expand into like this whole world type thing. Making sure all the mechanics work and everything like that. And I'll be sure to post a video and a link to the Discord once there's like a testable version for people to play. I know a few people have asked me, and even people in my family have wanted to know if they could play part of it. So I will start attempting, and my goal for 2022 is to make a version of the game that could actually be played, like a testable version. And yeah, so that's it. And it's almost 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and 11 p.m., and it's the next day. All right, so that's it. We're at 8 minutes, and thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any other suggestions or comments below.